Welcome to the SwimSwam podcast. I'm your host, Coleman Hodges. Joining me today, we've got a very special guest. She is a 20-time NCAA All-American. Most recently, she is a member of the ISL championship team, Cali Condors. And even more recently, she's a new member of the Tennessee Pro Group. We've got Veronica Burchill. Veronica, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. No complaints. Let's talk about Knoxville. You switched, you just moved to Knoxville to train with the Tennessee Pro Group there. Tell me about the transition.
Yeah. So I made the decision to go to Tennessee a couple weeks before we left for the ISL. So it was a little bit of a quick turnaround. But yeah, so we got back November 23rd. And about a week later, I moved to Tennessee. So I've been here just over a week and training with them. So it's been good.
Yeah. What do you think of Knoxville so far? What do you think of the train? Well, sorry. First of all, how'd you land on Tennessee?
So Erica Brown and I have been friends for many years. And so her and I actually roomed together in 2018 at Short Course Worlds. And so her and I have always talked about having maybe a week or two to train together just to, see what it's like to train together. And I do apologize. That's my dog. Anyways, so her and I, right before COVID hit, actually, we were talking about having me come down for a week, or come up, I guess, to Tennessee for a week to train with her and visit her. And so that never happened due to COVID. So we ended up just kind of, we've always kept in touch, but after everything hit, everything was kind of crazy. And so, I'm about to graduate from UGA. So I was kind of thinking about the timing. I didn't want to make a change before ISL because I thought it was going to be a little bit too much for that. So I thought, okay, if I'm graduating after, it might be a good time to, right after ISL, it might be a good time to kind of just make a change. And yeah, it was really hard for me to make that decision, but I definitely wanted to train with Erica and Allie Duluth that's now there, and, Maddie Bannock and all the girls there. So I've always had a really good relationship with a lot of those girls, and Matt Kredich is awesome. So, but it was really hard to make the decision because I love my team. I love my coaches, and my sister's still in Athens, but Knoxville is also closer to my house in Indiana. So it was a really good option all around.
Yeah. I gotta say, Athens and Knoxville are probably my two favorite towns to go to for a swim meet or a practice in pancakes. It seems like you're really getting the best of both worlds outside the pool.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember when you came to do the practice in pancakes. I think it was maybe my sophomore or junior year. Yeah, and so random, but I think you stayed in an Airbnb like in my neighborhood because I saw you drive by.
Nice.
So, yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
They're just such cool towns apart from the swimming, but I'm glad the move's going well. I know you mentioned you're only a week into practice, but what is training with the Tennessee Pro Group been like so far in this short window?
Oh no, it's been great. Last week we were kind of just getting back into training in general from the ISL. A lot of the girls took a couple days off, long weekend through Thanksgiving. So we were all kind of just getting back into shape. We did lactate and glucose testing last Thursday. And I've never done it before, so I'm actually talking to Matt tomorrow about kind of my results and moving forward with different testing stuff. It's really cool. I was, I anytime you make a transition, no matter it's, high school to college, college to professional swimming, you always, and no matter, what group or organization you go to, there's always going to be, that question of, am I going to get, as many yards as I need to, or just kind of what you're used to. And it's a switch. But yeah, I wasn't sure because, Tennessee's a very, very much known for being really innovative with their sprint program and stuff. So that was something that definitely drew me to Tennessee. But I was also, I was a little concerned if I wasn't going to get enough yardage in, but that's not even close to the case. I'm definitely getting in just as much yardage as I need, which is perfect. And Matt's really awesome. He definitely, caters every practice to meet the needs of every individual, which I think is amazing. And if I need to do more kick or just a little more yardage in general, then he just, he's like, do what you need to do and what your body feels like it needs to do. So it's been great. I've really enjoyed the practices and yeah, it's been great.
Nice. I want to, I'm really happy to hear that transition is going well. And I'd like to talk about some of those other transitions you mentioned. Because you swam for a lot of top programs. In high school you were with Carmel Swim Club and Carmel High School, where you won. Yeah. You were a 15-time state champion and won 3 state titles. And obviously you swam for Georgia, and then you've been with the Cali Condors. And so I have to imagine you've learned a lot being on all these great teams. So let's start with Carmel. You grew up in Indiana. Yeah. What was it like being a part of that swim team, especially maybe as a freshman or a sophomore, knowing what they had accomplished as you were coming into that group?
Coming into Carmel, it I mean, it was a little intimidating, I will say, just as, a baby freshman. I had a lot of really great seniors my freshman year, and they really helped prepare me to be a leader my sophomore year, because a lot of it kind of, for a lack of a better way to put it, like there were so many talented swimmers on that team, but I knew that kind of as someone that literally swam all the relays and stuff, I knew that I would kind of have naturally I don't want to say a bigger leadership position, but a little bit, I guess, because of just, having to constantly put the team on, swim for the team and that sort of thing. I think that those seniors did a really good job of, just paving that way and showing us what we needed to do. Claire Adams and I were the same class, and her and I definitely worked really hard to be the best role models and team leaders that we possibly could. And so I know her and I learned a lot from those people just before us. And we always like to say that we're standing on the shoulders of giants there at Carmel, because we really are. There's so many incredible people that came before us that just paved the way and made it easy for us. I don't want to say easy because we did work hard, but definitely allowed us to, strive for greatness as best as we could.
Yeah. Who were those seniors your freshman year?
The two that stand out the most to me are Lacey Locke and Jamie Skronik, and now she's Jamie Weed, but or Wade, sorry. Lacey Locke in particular, she was incredible. She swam at Northwestern, and now she's in law school. So she's a very just smiley personality and great leader. So definitely learned a lot from her and felt that she did a great job, not only, showing us what we needed to do and how to be successful in at Carmel, but also gave back to the sport consistently.
Yeah. I mean, and so, personally, I came from an area where there was friction between the high school team and the club team. And I know that's
really?
there's so many different relationships between high school coaches and
yeah.
to have your club coach be your high school coach and have that
Mhm.
transition. I mean, I know a high school swim season can be so special for so many athletes.
Yeah.
And how did that affect how you saw high school swimming, knowing that you had the full support of of your club coach because they were the same guy?
Yeah. I think it was just really an easy transition from high school to club, club to high school. It was pretty seamless. It never felt like, I mean, obviously each, like you were saying, each like club swimming and high school swimming, they each have their special, like their special place in your heart, I guess, in a sense, because they're great for different purposes. And I think that we use the club season to have our success nationally, internationally, however you put it. And then it was kind of like our fun time to shine, I guess, at high school state and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It was awesome to not only, compete for a team that we always believed in and always, it was our team. I don't know. But I loved the aspect of both because they were pretty similar people, but also when we would have like our club season, we'd have other people from other schools that trained with us and stuff. Person in particular, my friend Rachel Hayden, she swam at Mizzou. She was on another high school team, but swam for Carmel Club. And so it was cool because we're obviously training and competing for Carmel, but I could cheer for my teammate that went to North Central and stuff like that. So I don't know. That doesn't really answer your question completely, I think, but that's kind of how I take it.
Yeah, gotta throw Go Tigers in there. I'm a Mizzou alum, but
oh yeah, sorry, I forgot.
that's cool. And like you said, you get a little diversity and you get some sameness, and it seems like that was a good balance for sure. So like you said, you had seniors that paved the way for you as a freshman to become a leader heading into the rest of your high school career.
Yeah.
How do you feel like you played that leadership role during the latter 3 years at Carmel?
I mean, I didn't do it alone. I definitely think that the girls in my class really helped me, and we helped each other. Just I don't really know how to put it other than we just kind of stuck by each other's side and everything. One of my other close friends, Kendall Smith, she went to Wisconsin. She and I, we were like, we were weight room partners and training buddies. And I think really, I guess aside from her, all the personalities in our class and on the team, no matter, I mean, anytime you're on a team with each other, like with other people, you're not always going to get along, but you're always in a sense family. And so I think that, even when we would have our ups and downs, we always kind of came back to the central point that like, we're doing this for something like for bigger than ourselves. And so I think that's what really helped us all through the 4 years is like, we had positive pressure not to let the people that come before us down. And I think that was really one of the biggest things that we did. We were always thinking about the bigger picture, I think. Yeah. So
do you have a highlight from that? I mean, obviously it was a big high school career.
Yeah.
15 state titles is a lot. As is 3 team titles. You guys were a dominant team for sure in the state of Indiana. Do you have memories that stick out to you as favorites, or even practices or meets that you always think back to?
Yeah, I do. So my sister's only a year younger than me, and she also went to Georgia, and she's a senior at Georgia right now. She and I were on, well, okay, so she had a goal to break the 200 IM state record because it was the only record that was like the oldest record still standing. And this is actually something that I wasn't even necessarily here for, but her sophomore year, her junior year. It was her junior year. Sorry. Her junior year, my senior year, she won the state title. Not unexpectedly, but it wasn't out of lane 4. And it was really cool because she was, seated second, and it was kind of an upset, I guess. And so that was a really cool moment when she kind of started to, really believe in herself in that event. And then her senior year, which I had to unfortunately watch online because I was at Georgia, she broke the state record, and it was so cool because it was like that's what she was trying to do all 4 years, and then she finally did it at her senior state meet. So that was awesome. And then my senior year, she and I were on the final 400 freestyle relay together, which was awesome. It was oh my gosh, who was on that relay? It was myself, Claire, Sammy, and I think it was Trudy Rothrock, I believe. Or maybe it was Kendall. I don't know. Anyways, I just remember that relay being so fun, and it was the last meet or last race of the meet, and it was so fun. So yeah, those memories are probably my favorite, at least from like high school state.
Yeah. I mean, those are good ones. Growing up with a swim sibling that really bonds you because you guys are spending all this time together. Did you guys always swim? Did you do other sports as well together, or was it pretty much swim?
We did other sports together. She was really good at soccer, and I played soccer as well, but she was definitely better than me. And I didn't like to run, so she was a little bit better at that. And we did some other sports, but like I tried volleyball. We did basketball together. That was really fun. Like I said, she was better than me pretty much at every other sport. Maybe except for volleyball, just because I'm a little bit taller than her. But we tried other sports, and then I stuck to swimming, or I started doing swimming only in 6th grade, I think. And then she did swimming only, I want to say her in 7th or 8th grade. It was a little bit after me. I think she was on some travel soccer teams. So that was really cool to see her, do really well in another sport as well. But it was about that. Yeah, we did some other stuff.
And I mean, just through high school, at least, how big was it to have her support and to have her always there as a support throughout your high school swimming?
Oh, it was incredible. Yeah. I mean, she's my best friend. And so I think, I wouldn't have been able to make it through even, college without her. I mean, we're very close, but we're also not like dependent on each other, which is a great balance. I think that we've really done a great job of finding out, how we need to be around each other when we're happy, sad, you name it, and specifically within the sport. And I mean, outside of that as well, but it takes a little bit of trial and error over the years, but ultimately, I mean, she's my biggest supporter. I'm her biggest supporter, and we're always going to be rooting for each other no matter what. So that's great.
That's a really interesting point because swimming has ups and downs, right? I mean, as does everything, but I mean, you get out of the pool after a bad race, and depending on the person, some people you can take whatever, can talk to people after and be like, it's all right, I had a bad race. And some people, it's like, don't talk to me, get out of my way. I'm going to the warm down pool. And to have a sibling who really understands that, especially throughout your whole career, is a really cool thing.
I mean, we've had to learn along the way, but by now we pretty much get it. After I have a bad race, unless it's actually, I mean, I only allow myself to be upset for a certain number, like, a certain number of minutes, not very long if I do. And I'm one of those people that from a personal standpoint, I don't ever want to make anyone else uncomfortable by, their reaction to me or trying to help me. So if I have a bad race, I'm like, it wasn't very good, but it's okay. So, but yeah, it's been great to have her, by my side all these years. And it's hard because I was FaceTiming her actually the other day, and she finally admitted to me that she missed me.
Took that long.
No, she's just funny. Yeah, so I miss her too, and it's been hard, but we FaceTime, so it's great.
That is great. Yeah. I have an older brother. We're very close. We swam together, and yeah, it's definitely hard not having him there all the time, but you talk on the phone and you make it work.
Yeah, you do. You do what you got to do.
Yeah. So you get to Georgia, and coming from Carmel, do you feel like you were prepared for the kind of swimming that you were going to be doing at Georgia?
I think so. Yeah. This was many years ago. But I think Carmel swimmers had a reputation of not getting faster in college. And I don't know. Oh. And I don't know what.
Okay. I don't think I was aware of that reputation, but interesting.
I don't know where I heard it, but it hasn't been brought up in a long time, because clearly Carmel swimmers are getting better in college. It was
not the case.
It was many years ago.
Gotcha.
It was way before my time, I think, but yeah. So when I got to Georgia, honestly, it was a little intimidating because I just wanted to do the best for my team. And stepping into the program my freshman year, I was so scared, but not because of the training necessarily, but just because I didn't want to let anyone down. So I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself my freshman year, but I had, great people like Olivia Smoliga, Rachel Zelinskas, Shanti. I can never say her last name. She's Canadian. Anyways, those great seniors really helped me. And so, I always felt like like I said, it was very similar to high school in the sense that those people really paved the way for us. And I think that from a personal standpoint, like, I think they did an incredible job and truly set the tone for the rest of my college career, because, they were great, not only teammates, but mentors and friends. So, yeah.
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 And so then as you moved throughout your Georgia career, did you see parallels at all between your Carmel career and your Georgia career? Maybe the first topic of that is being a leader coming into your sophomore season.
Slightly, but not entirely. I'd say that if I'm trying to compare it a little bit to my to high school, my junior and sophomore year would have been flipped, I think, in college, because my sophomore year was my best NC2A meet. I think I would have done fine this year if it would have happened, but the one that actually happened, that was my best meet. And in college, in high school, I progressively got better every single year. And in college, I was freshman year was pretty solid. And then sophomore year, I kind of broke out a little bit more. And into that summer following sophomore year is, I guess, freshman year, I made 2017 World University Games. So I guess that was kind of like a breakout. But then I, kind of springboarded into my sophomore year, and then this following summer when I made 2019 World University Games, and then went to 2018 Short Course Worlds on relays. So that was really cool. But I'd say that was probably my best swimming year until my senior year, because junior year NC2As and in general was kind of rocky. But I learned a lot from that year. So, yeah.
I mean, if not, you can just say, nah, I'd rather not. But if you're comfortable with talking about it, what made that junior season rocky for you?
I think there were a lot of factors. I was focusing more on school than I had in the past 2 years. So out of high school, I was an okay student, but not where I wanted to be. And I always kind of put a lot of pressure on myself. And then kind of gave up my freshman year. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to try and be good at school. Which is not a bad thing, because you want to be good at school and swimming. I did both, but it took me a little bit to get the to get the balance right. So I started getting, focusing a little bit more on school, which wasn't necessarily like one of the reasons, but I think it always, when you're taking up a little bit more time doing something else, it always, has a little bit of an impact, whether it's big or small. I think mentally, it was, I wouldn't say it was the entire junior year. It was after junior year, junior year NC2As was really the thing. We placed 18th. And that year, I was just really hard on myself, to, be completely honest. I was really hard on myself because I felt like I didn't contribute to the team in the way that I was supposed to. I think we were, supposed to place a lot higher, and I had a lot of expectations for myself that I did not accomplish at that NC2As. And I personally, like, I put too much pressure on myself, and kind of, it felt like I let myself down and the team. And so it took me a little while to recover from that. And I think at the beginning of my senior year, I finally kind of said, screw it. I'm gonna give my last year all that I have, and really just, go all in. And because there was, like, in kind of there's nothing to lose mindset. Mm-hmm. And I think that really helped me recover from it. Because I think, I feel like a lot of people get wrapped up in, you have to care so much about swimming. And I think that's so important, when it comes to different parts of your training and everything. But sometimes when I say I didn't care, I don't mean that I actually literally didn't care, but I mean that I had I'm going to go all in, and whatever happens mentality. And I think that really helped me be a little more like go with the flow, and kind of just take whatever comes at me with, the best that I can, I guess, in a sense. That makes sense.
It sounds like you were able to lift some of the pressure that you put on yourself.
I agree. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you said, when you've got that nothing to lose mentality, you're able to be a little more carefree. You're able
Yes.
to lift some of that self-implemented pressure, which is usually a good thing.
Yeah, completely. And I think I also just had 100% belief in myself as well. Like that, like this past senior, like my senior year, I really honed in on, like almost like an I'm awesome mentality, like I believe in myself 100%. And you gotta kind of give that to yourself to have even a fighting chance at whatever you want to accomplish. So I think that was really important too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We talked about transitions earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I want to back up just a little bit. You
Yeah.
said that sophomore season of college was kind of a breakout for you.
Yeah.
How did, at that point, where were you in that transition of just adjusting to the college lifestyle?
Yeah. So, um, I guess the best way that I can kind of explain it is, freshman year, you come in and you're like, oh my God, everything's new. I'm on my own, everything. But sophomore year, I think my sister came in sophomore year.
Problem solved.
And I don't want to say that she, I'll give her credit where credit's due. Like, she obviously helps me a lot, but I think that I was finally coming into my own with the sport and kind of believing in myself in that way. And then also, I think I was really starting to excel with the program as a whole, like just with the training and, you buy in freshman year and then like you kind of just go from there. And I feel like I was really buying into what we were doing. And I mean, Brian Smith, my coach from Georgia, like, he's amazing. Can't say enough good things about him and Jack and all the coaching staff. I mean, oh my gosh, they're family, but they really do an incredible job of just, showing their athletes like where you can, like, their belief in you just really shows you where you can go in the sport. And I think that is really important, and kind of where I gained a lot of confidence that year because of, not only them, but also just, consistently pushing better times in practice and being really consistent in my training as a whole. And then also just believing in myself. And then, my sister was there, which was really great. So yeah.
Yeah. Brian's a funny guy.
Brian's awesome. Oh my gosh. He's the best.
he's great. He's really quirky.
Yeah.
And when he has a huge beard, it looks awesome.
Oh my that beard, let me tell you, it's so funny. we always give him crap, like when are you shaving the beard, man? and and he'll be like, my wife likes it. So he's like, I'm waiting a little bit longer. It's so funny. Yeah.
So Brian seems like a kind of guy who might come into workout and surprise you. Was that ever the case?
Well, at first, yes, but over the years, I kind of developed a sense for what he would write. Pretty much every week was kind of the same pattern, so I kind of knew what to expect. But every once in a while, he would throw a curveball at me and say, "Hey, go with the main group. Hey, I don't want you over here. You need to do more yardage." And I would look at him and I'd go, Brian, why? But yeah, no. So he was really funny, and no, I think over the years I just got kind of used to what he would write. But every once in a while he would throw a curveball in the workouts, or he would write leading up to like SECs, mainly SECs. Oh, it was crazy because I guess my freshman year I did rest for SECs, but my sophomore year, junior year, senior year, I didn't rest as much as everyone else, or there were select few people that didn't rest as much. And I was one of those people, and I would always get really frustrated, but I knew that it's what I needed. And, he would write a practice for everyone and then would put, varying numbers like 3 to 8 or 6 to 12 of whatever the set was. And it would be, everyone do the 6 and Veronica, you got 12. But I wouldn't always be lonely. Like, Cam Murphy and I would always be together, or Kylie and I. Anyways, so it was kind of like I wasn't ever alone, but I always felt kind of like I was targeted. But it was what I needed. But
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And just for our listeners out there, I think kind of translation is Georgia main group is like distance group, and then Georgia distance group is like ultra distance group. Is that accurate?
Oh, I mean, not sometimes. I think it's a little bit different now because we've got Neil Versfeld training the distance kids. And I mean, it is distance for sure distance, but he has recruited a couple people from mid distance to kind of do some workouts with him, my sister included this year. And so it's slightly different than when Harvey would run it. So yeah, I like Neil's workouts. They're nice. And also brutal at the same time.
I remember seeing Harvey's workouts and cringing.
I never did a Harvey workout. Thank goodness.
Nice. Okay, so
we're getting off track. I'm sorry.
So yeah, it's my fault, but this is all great. This is all just a day in the life of a Georgia dog.
Yeah.
So you evolve as this Georgia swimmer. Do you feel like you were always pretty serious about swimming? I mean, is that something that you always wanted to be a priority in your life? And did you ever see yourself as doing it professionally after college?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a yes and no question, I guess the last one, but swimming has always been a priority for sure. Mm-hmm. I think that it was something that I could always pour my heart and soul into. I think that when I was specifically in high school, like I said, I was solid at school, but I knew that I would be going to college and hopefully getting a scholarship because of swimming. And I knew that would help me get to where I kind of wanted to go, at least in terms of helping me towards the professional life and as an adult. And so, I mean, definitely when I got to college, I thought that, you know, like I said, like I bought in, I knew that this was the place for me at Georgia. And I don't know. I think that I didn't always know that if I was going to swim professionally or not. I think so. When I was 16, I won the 100 fly at juniors long course. Excuse me. And that summer in 2014 was kind of when I figured out, oh, you know what, I think I could maybe be good at this whole swimming thing. My coach Ian Murray from he's now coaches at Dynamo, but when he was coached at Carmel, he was like one of my, like him and Chris were, you know, my two main coaches. And I remember sitting down with him and he kind of talked about, he said, you know, how fast do you think you could go in your 100 fly this summer? And this is at the beginning of the summer when I started to train like a lot better. And I said, I mean, I don't know. Do you have an idea? And he said, I think you can go in 59 and that would be in contention to win the junior national title. And I was like, okay, that would be really cool. I went to one juniors the year before, but like got last. And so I think from that point on, I really kind of started to believe in myself, but it wasn't until, I guess, like, you know, if you're going off of milestones, the next milestone would have been in 2017 when I got 7th at World Champ Trials.
In Indy.
Yeah. And I was so pissed. but because I was just so close, but I knew that I would have made World University Games. So I was also so happy. So it was kind of like a bittersweet thing. And I had also never placed top 8 in a national meet. So it was really special. But no, so then, you know, I think that at that meet at World University Games, my dad flew to Taiwan to watch me, which was really special as well. And we were sitting at like one of the only places we could go that was okay for us to eat at. And it was this little like pizza shop, little pizza shop right across our village. And my dad and I are sitting there, and my dad coaches at Carmel, by the way. Yeah. Okay. My dad's a swim coach, so yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And he didn't coach there when I was there though. Anyway, so we're sitting there and he says, you know, your first international meet, and you know, what do you think about swimming professionally? And I said, I don't know. And at that point I was convinced I was not going to do it. And I think then the next year happened and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe.
Okay. At that point, you were convinced you weren't going to do it because you didn't think you could, or because that wasn't something you were interested in?
I wasn't sure if I was good enough. I knew that I had made the meet, and I was doing pretty well. I wasn't, swimming poorly or anything. I just think that I didn't know my potential at that point. And I mean, I guess you never really fully know your potential until you do it. But um, the next year was revolutionary in my career, I think. And so, and I just didn't know that that was going to happen. So, yeah, I was just iffy because of the unknowns in all, truthfulness, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
And so obviously this year happens, your senior year NCAA's gets canceled. We go into lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Were you pretty set on still swimming even after lockdown and NCAA's were canceled?
I think. Yeah. I was training the fastest I've ever trained going into NC2As. It was, I mean, it was heartbreaking, but so, NC2As gets canceled. My roommate and I, her name is Jordan Stout. She was going to
Missouri
NC2As.
girl.
Yes, yes, yes. She's at Washington University in St. Louis actually for
Oh,
law school. So kind of cool. Yeah,
nice.
smart. Um, but anyway, so her and I, we're heartbroken, and we're like, we need to do something that's not swimming. So we go to an Orange Theory class on Saturday. I had not run in months,
Do you run at
and
Orange Theory?
yeah, it's like a half. It's you like you're on the floor for like half of it. It's like an hour or so, and then you're running for another half hour. And there's different classes, but the one that we did was like that. And then we ended up training at Swim Atlanta the next week, which would have been the NC2A. That would have been NC2A week. And I was training the fastest I've ever trained, leading, in that week. And it was so bittersweet because I said to myself, oh my gosh, okay, I would have swam fast at these NC2As. But I said to myself, I'm not done here. I just wasn't ready to be done with the sport. And um, I was loving it and was really passionate about it. So I thought, why not keep going? I know that I've got some unfinished business to do. So yeah.
And then when did ISL come into the picture?
Not to, yeah. So I started talking to a couple teams about 2 weeks after, and I think it was 2 weeks after NC2As were canceled. So and then I made a decision pretty quickly on Cali Condors. So yeah, it was cool.
It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about the ISL Budapest bubble. I mean, tell me about your experience there.
It was awesome. I personally didn't swim how I wanted to. I was a relay only swimmer. And I mean, based on our dominance, I maybe could have swam a couple things at like, our easier meets, but, and that's okay that I didn't get the opportunity to, but, on the relays, the 400 free relays, kind of is all that I did. I led off a couple times and then went second. And I think I anchored the first meet, which was very, very nerve wracking. There was no one in the stands, but you walk out and there's all the lights, and then there's your team right there. And I'm going, oh my gosh, it's crazy, but it was so cool. Yeah, I really loved the team. Like, felt like I bonded with, almost every single person in some way, which was really cool. And I thought that, Jason and our coaches did a great job of, really being there to help us. And one of our last meetings, when everyone said thank you, basically, and, like, we kind of had a heart to heart fest, after the finals were over. I can't remember which coach said this, but one of them said, we didn't, you guys made our job easy. We didn't have to do much, but they did a lot. And they really helped us, make it easy for all of us to do our practices, do our workouts in the weight room and in the pool, and really just assist us in any way that they possibly could. Because all of them were so willing to, give us some advice, but also step back when they needed to, and just kind of, monitor. I don't know. It was really good. Yeah.
What did you just think of just the format of those 6 weeks? Had you ever been in an environment like that where you were racing so often? And then how were you managing training in between those race days?
So at the beginning, we had a couple weeks. Well, so no, I haven't been in an environment like that necessarily. The closest that I would say is, like dual meets in college when you have back-to-back weekends or something like that. So, I mean, in a sense, I'm sure most college kids can kind of relate to it to a certain degree, because, sometimes in the fall and in the spring, like right before SCCs or any championship meet, you're kind of going back to back to back by weekends. So I would relate that to the beginning of the camp, because we had our first meet and then we had 8 days, and then our second meet and then like 8 days. And then the meet started going by really quick. We trained really hard after the first, in our first 8 days and our second 8 days. And then I think we kind of progressively started to go down in yardage slightly. Definitely some people were training a lot harder than others, just on a daily basis, because they could consistently perform at a high level, even with really hard training. Lily King being one of them. I was so impressed by her. I mean, I've known her forever, but the day, I think, she had an undefeated streak, and it did break when she lost the 200 breaststroke, but she literally did a 7K threshold set the day before that. And I'm not saying anything bad about anyone, but it was just incredible to see her crush it on a daily basis. I have so much respect for her. She's incredible. So yeah. She definitely was always training really hard throughout the entire camp, except for she rested through the finals, but that was about it. Yeah. So
dang. And so what did your training specifically look like? As a sprinter, what's going hard for you?
I mean, even though I am technically a sprinter, I would say, I guess the 200 is like a sprint nowadays, but I do need to train a lot of threshold. So, I don't have specifics for you. I don't really know what to say, but I do know that we were on a pretty consistent, a similar training pattern to what we would do at home. It's just, it was altered by, some meets in between. So then we would kind of we would almost treat that as a Saturday, Sunday. And then, we'd start back over and have a day off, and then we'd start back, and then we'd have what would be a normal Monday, but a little bit more flushed out than as high intense threshold would be, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It was interesting. It was in a lot of ways, it was what I expected it to be like. And then in some ways I was really, it was kind of interesting to get used to, because I mean, I almost kind of had to treat it like it was, we were, just suiting up every couple days at a practice or something. So.
Yeah. I mean, what do you have any other specifics of what surprised you or what kind of took you off guard?
Not really. I think the entire experience was really fun. And I learned so much. Watching all these, Olympians and national team members go through their routine, and, kind of just getting a closer look at how they think about things and how they go, carry themselves. I think I really took away a lot of valuable information, and just because ultimately if I if I didn't swim as well, as I wanted to, that's, I think I took away a lot more than just the swimming part of it from the trip, if that makes sense. So I think it was really valuable. And I do know now that I need to be in the weight room a lot more, because if you're not in the weight room consistently, at least for me, because I love to lift, I mean, some people were talking about how they lost a little bit of muscle mass over the trip, but I guess it just depends on who you are and what you need. So yeah.
That's interesting. And it seems, again, like you said, it's a different format, but you kind of had expectations, and it seems like it was a really good learning experience for everyone who went.
For sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me about just the night when you guys did win the finale. What was the team energy like? Because I'm sure everyone was just buzzing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I gotta kind of go back to like the first day, because like just really quick, we had a team meeting and Jason gave us a really awesome pump up speech, and we were all just so fired up because we were going in there still as the underdogs, because we were expected to lose, which I love that, because then it just makes everyone so much more excited to swim fast, and like we got we had so much like fire inside and stuff, so it was really cool. But I think when we finally won and we we did what we came to do, it was just surreal. I don't really know what to say, because it was like I don't know, I can't really compare it to anything because our team never won NC2A, so I'm sure that that's kind of a feeling that you have when that happened. They won right before my freshman year, but
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So I don't know. It was really awesome, and one thing that was really important to us is that we won, but if we were going to win, we wanted to win graciously and like be so thankful that we did it. And so although we were so psyched and really pumped up, we wanted to make sure that we went around and we thanked everyone, all our competitors, and just made sure that we were grateful for everyone that made everything possible. So I think that was really great that was that was incorporated into what we wanted to do. And of course we were excited to jump in the pool and celebrate. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
mean, obviously that's a great way to cap off a 6-week camp.
Yeah, it was.
Seems pretty cool. So to wrap things up, heading into these next couple weeks, next couple months, what are you looking forward to? What are you hoping to accomplish just in the short term while adjusting to your new home in Knoxville?
Yeah, so I'm kind of just excited to get into a routine again, which I'm starting to now. I'm gonna go home, I think December 20th, so that'll be nice to kind of have a week with my family and everything. But over the next couple months, I'm really just trying to get consistent training in and get fully adjusted to to being here in Knoxville, being with the girls, and yeah, I mean, I guess also, like meets are kind of up in the air at the moment. So, I mean, if we don't go to meets, like I think we're probably gonna suit up at Tennessee, or we'll kind of figure that out. But really just looking forward to consistency in whatever way that happens, because things are changing daily, but looking forward to that. Yeah.
Well, Veronica, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to sit down and talk with me. It's been really great getting to hear some of your stories. Any parting thoughts before we sign off today?
I don't think so. It was really nice to talk to you today, and I appreciate you letting me come on the podcast today. And yeah, I appreciate it.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.